Hello, hello, here we go. It's the Kopite Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kopite Podcast. It is the big season review, and what a season it has been, where Liverpool are finally Premier League champions for the first time ever, but it's also our 19th league title, so it's absolutely amazing, and what a feeling. With me today, obviously, as always, it's Mick Moran. Mick Moran is sunning himself on holiday at the minute. How are you, pal?
Yeah, not bad, apart from this dodgy internet telling me I've got full bars, but turn into Peter Crouch with a bit of robotics now and again, apparently. So apologies if you see me jump off screen and back on again.
Well, mate, I can't do this without you anyway, so I'll have you in any way, shape or form. Read into that however you want, viewers. That's, it's up to you. But Mick, I'm just going to jump straight into it, mate. It's been an incredible season in more ways than one. A lot of positives, a lot of negatives, considering the way the world is at the minute. But forgetting that for a moment, if we rewind the clock back a year, and we've just come off winning number 6 in Madrid on the 5th of June. We had a really great summer, reliving all the content and stuff. But you cast your mind back to the Friday night when we were about to kick off against Norwich. What was going through your mind?
When you look back at that game, and obviously it was a 4-1 win at home to Norwich. They were looking to get a good start in the Premier League. We were looking to obviously go one better from the season before, where we unfortunately finished just 1 point behind Man City. But that was a great game, and then, like you say, it's started off well, and then Alisson Becker goes off injured. I don't know how long into the game it was, but you're thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, and you have to bring Adrian into the equation, who's we know he's a good solid goalkeeper, but he's untried and untested at the highest level. So I think I was worrying a lot about that, but no, we managed to get through that game, and Adrian did quite well in that period when we didn't have a big, beautiful beard with Boston, Alisson Becker. But that was a great start, and set us
So
away.
Just for that game, I mean, obviously the summer was in transfer turmoil, really, wasn't it? Because everyone was sort of losing their minds that we sort of hadn't really, strengthened the squad as what everyone wanted us to in terms of signing those big names after winning the Champions League. But I think in our minds we all wanted to strengthen, but going in with the same squad, Klopp sort of had that mentality of, well, we went on from Kiev to go to Madrid. We've got 97 points with the squad that we've already got. Our rivals haven't really strengthened properly, and like you just mentioned there, the only person that we really brought in was Adrian as backup goalkeeper. Yeah. Was you worried? I mean, obviously we beat Norwich 4-1, but was you worried at the start of the season, thinking without strengthening we might not go one better?
Yeah, because I think anyone would be alive if said they weren't a bit slightly worried. Because I think I weren't worried, but then you think you read a bit too much in what people are saying on Twitter, and you think, oh God, we do need to maybe get 1 or 2 in just to bulk up the squad. And you look at Spurs, I think it was the year before, they didn't bring anyone in. And it's you're at that stage where you're getting really good, you're winning Champions Leagues, you do want to kick on, and you keep on the progression up and stuff like that. So I understand that start of it, and I was a bit hesitant about why we didn't bring anyone in. But I mean, we can all have the hesitancies we want, but Jurgen Klopp knows what he's doing. If we can't trust them now, we're never going to be able to trust them. And I know there's a certain section of support for some reason want these brand new shiny toys every year, which I get and I understand.
Like you just said before, Adrian has to come in 35 minutes into the season and step into Alisson's shoes, and the pressure for him was incredible. But after the Norwich game, we go back to we go back to Istanbul and pick up a trophy, which was incredible. I mean, what a game it was anyway, against Chelsea. I mean, obviously we didn't pick up the Charity Shield a few days earlier, which arguably without a last minute amazing clearance by Kyle Walker, we probably would have picked up that trophy as well. But I think winning the Super Cup was fantastic for us, wasn't it? A lot of people were saying about it's a game that doesn't matter and all that sort of stuff, and it went into extra time. I agree. Extra time should be scrapped out the Super Cup. But at the end of the day, we beat Chelsea on penalties, and Adrian was the hero in the penalty shootout, which is great. But I was made up. We won that. I was right up for that game. I'm so pleased that we won the Super Cup for the 4th time.
Yeah, and we've touched on before, like these type of competitions that are a byproduct of winning something else. They're not seen as glamorous like the Club World Cup. People don't see it as this glamorous trophy, but they're there to be won. You're there on merit. You're there for a reason, and why not get as many European trophies as we can? And that sets us up well especially after the Norwich game. And Adrian obviously had a starting role in that game against Chelsea and done really well in the penalty shootout. And I think that stood us in good stead and obviously pushed us on towards the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember James Milner mentioned something after we'd lost in Kiev, and obviously James Milner had been part of the squad that had lost the Europa League final and League Cup final, and he just said, once we win that first one, winning breeds winning. And obviously picking up the Champions League, the lads knew exactly what it meant to win the Super Cup, and beating another English side in another final was hugely important going into the new season anyway, because you want to get that mentality over that team straight away of we're better than you, and if you come up against us, we're Liverpool Football Club and you're going to go down. And that was a great mentality, and it was great to pick up that Super Cup, because like you've just said, you've got to win one trophy to win that, and it is very, very difficult trophy to win. So you're going into the season there, we've already picked up a trophy. You've got the World Club Cup coming up. You're going to be a good side going into the season, and there's a lot of opportunity for us, wasn't there? And the wins just kept going and going and going, didn't they? We didn't let up every week. It was another 3 points, another 3 points. It was just, we had to take it game by game, didn't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's a bit of a cliche, and I think people were getting a bit frustrated with the constant. Let's look at the next game, next game. But really, it's the best way to do it, isn't it? To be honest, like we were absolutely flying. Like I said, we didn't get too many injuries, so we could kind of put out similar teams week on week. Not make too many changes unless they were enforced. Suspension or injury, and like I said, we didn't get too many of them. But yeah, we just kept flying in like we had. Obviously, Southampton, Arsenal, Burnley, Newcastle. Like we were just setting them up and knocking them down. And now we were doing podcasts after every game, and it wasn't a question if we were going to win. It was going to be how many we were going to win by.
Yeah,
that's the stage we were getting to, and you look back and you think how lucky we were just to be like that confident going into each game. Just thinking these lads are just too good for anyone else. It doesn't matter if we go 1 goal behind, because we've got that like Klopp said, mentality monsters that we just, doesn't matter any unforeseen circumstances come into the play. We'll just get over them and come back stronger. And it was just like that all season. And when you look back at the season as a whole, it was just absolute whirlwind.
It was. And like you just said, the mentality monsters thing, straight away the first few games of the season. And Burnley away was interesting, wasn't it? Because obviously we'd won 3-0 and we could have had a lot more if Salah had woke up a little bit on the day, because he did have a hatful of chance on there. And what I loved about it was when Mane got subbed, and he was really pissed off the fact that Salah hadn't squared the ball, and the media lapped it up thinking, oh yeah, there's a fallout in it, and Twitter went nuts, didn't it? Well, rival fan Twitter went nuts, didn't it? Because like, oh, Liverpool having a fallout and it's all going to go pear-shaped now, and it doesn't. It's just that they just want to win, and they both want to score as many goals as they can, and I love that about the team. I really do. I think that's fantastic to have people like that in the squad. But you just said there about there's times when I've gone 1 goal behind, and we've not got worried, have we? Because maybe 5 or 6 years ago we go a goal down and you think, right, shit, how the fuck are we going to get out of this? But you go a goal behind it at Anfield against Newcastle, for example. We were 1-0 down, and I wasn't thinking, oh, we're going to lose. I was thinking, it's all right, we've got this.
Yeah, and it says a lot. Like, I think Burnley was 4 games in, and you've got the media thinking, basically plucking stories out of someone being annoyed for not getting past 2 and trying to make it into a bigger thing than it actually is, just because they knew Liverpool were going to be a force that season, and it was only 4 games in. Like, we were just batting side. Like you just touched on there, the Newcastle game, which was I think it was the game after, wasn't it? 3-1, where they scored early on a beast of a goal outside the box. I think it was Willems, was it? I think it was.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, great goal.
And you just touched on it. Times in the past, you think, oh shit, that we're lucky to get a draw in this. Like, you look back to 10, 15 years ago, and like you haven't got that. We didn't have that mentality in most of the players. Like, we've slowly started to get that type of player into the club. Like you say, the likes of Van Dijk and Alisson, all these big players, Fabinho, Robertson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and obviously the front three, just it's that never say die attitude, and you just know, even if, like I said, we'll go 1-0 down, especially even if Newcastle at home.
Yeah,
it's a matter of when, not if. Gonna get back in the game.
That's it, mate. And then straight away, obviously, we were top of the league from game week 2, weren't we? You know, and it was like, as Liverpool fans, we get quite sceptical over time, don't we? Because we know we've always had our heart broken when we've been top of the league early and all that sort of stuff. And just think, right, there's another one. Box that off. There's another game gone. That's another 3 points. Let's focus on the next game. And excuse me, we beat Newcastle and went straight into Champions League football then, and we obviously had a poor result away from home against Napoli. And I don't know what it is about that ground. We just never ever do well there, do we? So, but we were always confident we were always going to get out of that group stage anyway. But we'll come on to that in a minute. But then another big game the following Sunday against Chelsea, and again we'd beat them in the Super Cup. We had that mentality on that we've already beat you once this season. And what a fantastic performance it was, wasn't it, against Chelsea? Trent scores a fantastic free kick, and all round I watched that game, and I always shit myself when I go to Stamford Bridge because it is a tough place to go. But I'm going into that game thinking we're not losing today.
Yeah, and it's like listen to any of the. I've seen an interview with Trent. It was a couple of days ago on LFC TV talking about going to Stamford Bridge, and he says like it's such a hard ground to go to. And I think it's just from over the years we've always played Chelsea a shitload, haven't we? Like, you think like back in Champions League days and 04, 05 and all stuff like that, we've played them loads of times. I think from then it's just that little rivalry's always been there. And even before that, we were before Russian oil fella with the big bucks came in, and we were both always fighting for fourth with them. So from then and going to Stamford Bridge, we've never had that much joy up until the last couple of years, really, where we've started to kick on and get results there. But yeah, great. That was another great performance. Trent with that little free kick after the Salah layoff.
Yeah.
Finds the top corner, and then I think they got one disallowed. I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Correctly, and Firmino bags another goal as well. But yeah, it was just another. I think you get a bit. You can't focus on one. Like, when you look back at it as a whole, you go through them all and you realise just how good some of the performances were, and just how some of the players just went, right, fuck it, stepping up and just, we're going to win this game and dragging us through. And then that just happened all season. And if you look at every game, there's a moment where you go, right, that's where he stepped up, he bagged the goal. Firmino stepped up, just fucking dragged us through. Just little things like that. And it was just unbelievable.
It was, mate. Sandwiched in between the next Premier League game, we had a League Cup tie, MK Dons, which obviously we cruised through, and a lot of changes were made for that, and rightly so, which we'll pick up a few of the youth players in a bit. But just very quickly on the Sheffield United game, they've been absolutely fantastic this season, Sheffield United, and we haven't been back to Bramall Lane in a long, long time, and it's definitely over 10 years, and it was a tough side, tough game. I was worried for a lot of the time, and if you're going to win league titles, there's that goal sums it up, doesn't it? Really, it was unbelievable the way that happened.
Yeah, and when you watch like Premier League years when Man United winning every Premier League every year, they got like seven or eight of them a season where they just trickle over the line, and like that's the old cliche. That's what champions do, and we get a bit lucky, but you create your own luck, and obviously when Alden bags it, creeps under Henderson, who had a great season for them as well.
Yeah.
But it was just another box ticked on the way, and we weren't even that far into the season at that point, and it was like we all didn't want to believe it, did we? Did we?
No.
Like it was that whole thing, like top of Christmas. It only started to be top of Christmas, and then not win at Liverpool.
Yeah,
we didn't want that to happen again, and I think we all had that slight fear it was going to happen again, because until we actually get our foot over the line for the final time, but we actually get it. We're always going to worry, weren't we? But
of course we were, mate. Of course we were. And I think again it gives that great mentality, because obviously we had a Champions League game the following week against Salzburg, and that was worrying because obviously we won 4-3, but it was by the skin of our teeth, really, wasn't we? Because we were 3-0 up, and it was a very, very weird performance. We were cruising. Haaland was proved why he's one of the best young strikers in the world. We got our first look at Minamino, but again, that was 3 points on the board there. But again, the Champions League run was a little bit worrying at that point, because I think we'd won the thing and we weren't playing the same way we were playing in the league. But moving on from that, anyway, the following week we had a game against Leicester, and we were playing on the Saturday, and City were playing Wolves on the Sunday. And we're playing Leicester City, who were flying under Brendan Rodgers. They're challenging for top 4 all season, and we win with a James Milner penalty in the last minute. And again, if you want someone to take a penalty in the last minute, and it's not Steven Gerrard, you want James Milner, don't you? Because he's so reliable.
Yeah, nerves of steel. And I think, like I said, I think it was like 95th minute, wasn't it? It was something like that, something crazy.
Yeah.
I think they got one late on, so I think it was 80th minute, James Madison, and then we going back. And even if that was a 1-1, it still wouldn't have been the end of the world. But it's like we just said, like just the final.
No, it's based. Well, that's it. It's, like you just said, it's the final moments, because it's based on last season where the City and Liverpool went 14 games on the bounce without losing. You think we're going to have to do that again. So you are right in saying it wouldn't have been the end of the world, but still you think, shit, that's 2 points dropped and they're playing Wolves tomorrow. But luckily, the next day there's a shock result at the Etihad, and Wolves beat City, and then that's when you started thinking, hang on a minute, we're in October now. It was like this. I was thinking a little bit, not getting too ahead of myself.
Yeah, like I said, it was like a double whammy, wasn't it? Like we didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves, and got one eye on the City game, and then obviously, like you said, if they go ahead and lose, it was kind of like it's starting to fall into place a little bit now. And James Milner, just an absolute machine.
Yeah,
we keep him as long as we can, because them high school veins are needed on Penos in the future.
That's what we need, mate. It's exactly what we need. Obviously, after that, it's Man United at Old Trafford. Again, something about that place at the minute where it's just we're struggling to sort of gain momentum, because we were going into those games banging 3 points, and playing really, really well. But we hit Man United, and all of a sudden, you just felt the performance change. Even if after the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, you're like, this isn't the same Liverpool. You know what I mean? This isn't us. This isn't how we play football. And you're thinking, shit. And then obviously we go 1-0 down, which, VAR didn't help us in that game. As much as everyone likes to call us Liverpool, you can piss off with that shit, because it was absolutely ridiculous, that decision anyway. But, the little fella from the South Coast, Adam Lallana, pops up in the 86th minute and makes it 1-1. And he deserves his Premier League winners medal just for that, mate, doesn't he?
Definitely. And like we touched on before, like how maligned Adam Lallana is, and how unappreciated I think he was in the last couple of years, where he was happy with that squad role, and he was coming in and he was doing a last 10-minute job, but he was doing it well and he wasn't complaining. And there's a reason he's one of Klopp's favourites, and the reason he went this year with his blessing to Brighton on a little free transfer, because he had those injuries. He'd done so well in his first couple of years. He had those terrible injuries, and he accepted being way down the pecking order. Where it's little defining moments like that where someone pops up, a little squad member who isn't getting that many games, pops up the 85th minute and bags us an equaliser in a game where we did, like you said, we didn't look ourselves, and it was one of those games where like we weren't playing well. But over the years, like I say, Man United, it was always that little cliche. Champions could win when they're playing badly. I know we didn't win, but going to Man United and playing the way we did, could have easily got beat 1-0 there, just for the fact of the performance. But yeah, like I said, Lallana pops up with a goal and 1-1, and we keep that momentum going, being undefeated. And if we would have dropped 3 points there, and Lallana wouldn't have scored, who knows what would have happened. And I don't think, hindsight, I don't think it would have affected these players, because like I said, the mentality is too strong to be discouraged by anything. But that just kept us on the straight and narrow, and it just set us up nicely.
Certainly did, mate. Results were sound for the next couple of weeks. 4-1 win away at Genk, a 2-1 home win against Spurs. Again, we go 1-0 down on that, and we have the mentality to come back as well, which was a very nice birthday present for me. So I appreciate that, Reds. And then a very, very backwards and forwards cup tie against Arsenal, 5-5, and we ended up beating them 5-4 in penalties. Great game to go to. I had the time of my life, the best League Cup game I've ever been to. Anyway, it was such a good game, that, and it was nice for certain players to get runs out, and yeah, nice little game that as well. And I think it was great that the club had put a lot of the tickets on for really, really cheap to allow access to a lot of other fans to get into the ground as well. So that was brilliant. And then we come to Aston Villa on the 2nd of November, and yeah, mate, if anything, that game was the game where I was thinking, we're not going down without a fight here, because City had gone 1-0 down against Southampton earlier on in their game, if my memory serves me correctly, and we're losing 1-0 against Aston Villa, and then you think, and then Bobby has a goal disallowed.
The armpit goal.
The armpit gate. It's just ridiculous. But again, Robbo pops up with a fantastic header. Mane scores in arguably the last kick of the game, last touch of the game. Sorry. Yeah. What a game that was. I was absolutely buzzing for the rest of the night after that result. Such a good game.
Yeah, when I look back at one of the most crucial games, I'd definitely say that's one of them. I know we're going to come towards the little polls we did on Twitter in a bit. For me, that was just one of them where Villa Park's a horrible place to go, which is always really difficult. It's really difficult to play against. And I watched that full game about a week ago. It was on LFC TV. It was like the final moments, and it was the Villa game. And I watched it all, and I thought, we were just absolutely robust. Like, obviously they scored, and we had that disallowed goal, but just like I said, it just didn't deter us. We were just literally just swaying side to side from Robbo to Trent, just flowing forward, making loads of chances. I think we had like 20, 25 shots, I think, something like that. I don't think many were on target, but we were just absolutely battering them, like 70 odd possession, we did most of the season, and it was just terrific. And you knew, I think towards the end there was a couple of chances where Trent cuts in. It's on the right hand side, obviously cuts in on his left, has a little belter, just skims the post. Little things where you think, is it going to be our day, or is it going to be one of them where we might scrape the draw? Obviously, like you said, Robertson pops up with that goal. I think Origi comes on, Mane goes to the right, Origi goes left, Mane goes on the right, and then he cuts in left foot ball to Robbo, which was, what a ball that was with his weak foot from Mane. Absolutely tremendous. Literally on a sixpence for Robertson, great finish. And then obviously the man Sadio pops up with the winner in the 90+4, which he fucking loves 90+4, doesn't he? Everton.
He certainly does.
I think they got goals of that, but yeah, what a game that was. We were boss.
Yeah, it was a very pinnacle moment, that, wasn't it? Because you're getting, it's early November, and you're getting towards the nitty gritty time where the table sort of shapes itself, and you expect you're looking at the Christmas break. We've not only got the Christmas, not the Christmas break, sorry. You've got the Christmas schedule, Christmas period coming up. We've got to go to Qatar as well. You're thinking we can't afford to drop any points, and that was added pressure for the team. Again, another Champions League tie in the midweek anyway, and then the following Sunday it's the big one against Manchester City. And again, you think to yourself, right, we're already, I think at the time we were like 6 or 7 points clear, and this was going to bring a win against City at Anfield. Was so important, because obviously the previous season we drew 0-0 at Anfield and took a draw. Very, very lucky to get away with a draw thanks to Mahrez, who can't take a penalty. but we just knew, didn't we, that winning against City at Anfield would have been absolutely huge, and it would have gone, do you know what? We're not going to sing it, but in the back of our minds, we're thinking, this could be it.
Yeah, and I think with that win, I think we went 9 points clear from that, as I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But when you look back at the game as a whole, we definitely deserved to win, so we deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And from a personal note for myself, it was my favourite game of the season. I think it was just my favourite day on the whole, because obviously Mike, who's appeared on the podcast doing the old guard chats, he'd been seriously ill for months. He'd obviously he'd had a major operation in the summer, and it ruled him out from attending the games. But his big comeback for his first time going back to the game was the City game, and it felt that morning where we knew Mike was coming back to join us for on the beer all day, then go in the match, and it was his first time back in a good few months. It felt like a really good day, that something special was going to happen today, and Mike coming back and then getting the 3 points, it was just absolutely perfect. And one of the things I loved about when I got home later on and I rewatched the game, and you're watching the panel in Sky Sports talking about it, Vincent Company saying it's not over, and City can still come back and stuff like that, and you're just thinking, oh mate, you're watching it going, oh, they can as well, they still can come back, I best not get ahead of myself. But yeah, it was beautiful to see those. But like, if we fast forward a couple of weeks anyway, there's results against Palace. We get a decent result against Brighton, like you mentioned earlier. That was Alisson Becker getting sent off, so obviously Adrian's back in the fold again, which is brilliant for him in his career, coming and playing such a key role. I can't remember another backup goalkeeper that's had more of an impact in a Champions winning team. So fair play to him for that. And then obviously we get to the derby, and it's Derby Day, and it's Liverpool 5 and it's Everton 2, and yeah, what a game that was, eh? But Klopp had changed quite a bit, hadn't he? Klopp had changed the team, and everyone was sort of going, what's he doing here? And Klopp has even said it in his end of season special, that he was sort of like, I'm so glad we won, because the change I would have made, I would have got absolutely ruined for. But yeah, it was the Ev, and Divock, another masterclass, eh?
Yeah, and you got me a little cheeky ticket for that, so it's memory's a bit better for me. Yeah, I remember having a little bevy in the Arcos, and then team news came out, and I think everyone was just like, "What the fuck's he doing?" like we've got the audacity to fucking question Jurgen Klopp. But yeah, puts out the team he did, and Shaq goes on to play tremendously. Divock Origi goes on to do the same, and you think he's just Jurgen Klopp's a genius. Like, he just puts them in at the right time. I think Lallana started as well, didn't he? He had a great game as well. Memory serves me right. But yeah, it was a weird game. It was backwards and forwards. We just literally balls over the top. They were just absolutely crumbling. I think was that the game Marco Silva got sacked as well. I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was after that game.
I don't think it was too long after that, mate. I think you might be right on that one. Yeah,
I think so. But no, he was on a slippery slope at the time, and he was Marco Silva. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because we were just. We conceded 2, and it was a bit frustrating from that point of view, but we were just too good going forward. And Sadio Mane was running an absolute riot in their defence. Yeah. And another boss performance, and just another way to rub it in the Ev's face. So
yeah, absolutely, mate. And it's always good to get one over on the Ev, which seems to happen all the time now, which is great. Week after it's a 3-0 win against Bournemouth, 2-0 win away at Salzburg. 2-0 win at home against Watford, and then we had to go away somewhere, didn't we? We had to go away to Qatar. And we woke up. But the funny thing was there was a big hoo-ha beforehand, because on the 17th of December we were playing Aston Villa in the League Cup, and on the 18th we were playing Monterrey in the Club World Cup. So it was quite an interesting 24 hours, wasn't it?
I think when you look back, you think it's fucking balmy when you think we had to fix the 2 games in 2 separate fucking countries, continents, whatever, within 2 days. Just mad. And the fact that we, like, obviously, I think we tried everything to try and sort it out so we could play both games with full strength squads, but obviously Klopp wanted to get that Club World Cup, and in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I think that was the general consensus from most fans. I don't think the Carabao Cup was the top of everyone's list, and the fact that we sent the young lads there for a great experience for them. Yeah,
That's it,
really
mate.
well.
That's it. You've just hit the nail on the head. It was a great experience for them young lads, and it was such a young team, and it was great for the reserve team manager to take the squad to Aston Villa and do that. And again, like you just said, mate, lots of people questioned Klopp. I can't believe he's not going to be there, and he's disrespecting the cup and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sorry, we've won the League Cup 8 times. We've won it more than any other club, but we've never won the Club World Cup, and we wanted to go and win that. And I think we were so excited to go to that, wasn't we? As fans, we were so excited to be there because we'd obviously had that experience in 2005 and getting to the final and being sort of cheated out of the trophy, really, because we had 3 goals disallowed, didn't we? And we really, really wanted this one. This was a chance to be Club World Cup champions and be champions of the world, and not many teams can say that. And we wanted that mantle. We wanted to be unbearable. And it was funny because you watch all the footage of the team going out there in '81. I spoke to David Johnson, who obviously flew out there with the team at the time, and he just said, Jake, he's like, we just weren't bothered about it. We were just getting pissed everywhere and stuff like that. And it just really didn't matter to us, but it was so right that we went. But obviously, before we even got to Qatar, there was a big injury scare, wasn't there? Because we were going there without Fabinho, and he was going to be out for a long time. And we just thought, shit, what are we going to do here? But the Monterrey game, mate, Jesus Christ. We're playing teams here that we don't really know a lot of. But as I said to you on the podcast, didn't you? I'm never eating Monterey Jack cheese ever again, just because it fucking reminds me of it. But, mate, we watched it together, didn't we? And we scored in the last minute to get that 2-1 win was just incredible, wasn't it?
Oh, I loved it. Like you said, like the people that were saying Klopp's taking the piss not being there for the Carabao Cup were all rival fans, because what's he meant to do? Is he meant, like, if he prioritises one over the other, people are going to say, "Oh, he's making a mockery of that one." And just because he's doing it with an English competition, it doesn't matter. You can choose whatever competition you want to focus on over another one. It doesn't matter that because it's English, it needs to be looked on more favourably than an international one.
Mm.
From our point of view, we want to win as many international trophies as we can. And the teams we played didn't make it easy for us. And getting over that line, like you said, Monterrey Jack got over the line, and it was boss.
It was, mate. The teams that make it to these tournaments are nothing to be sniffed at. All right, yeah, they might not be world names like Liverpool are, but the massive names on their continent, and they deserve to be there. I mean, Flamengo still sing about beating Liverpool in the 80s. That's how huge we are. And they're no team to be sniffed at. And going into that final, I think we all thought, yeah, we're gonna do these, like, because we need the revenge from '81 and stuff like that. But I think we were so hungry, and everybody in that squad was really hungry. I mean, the fact that Jordan Henderson plays centre half against Monterrey, again, another reason why he is, the second coming of Captain Fantastic. He can play anywhere, and he does a job for the team, which is just unbelievable. But going into that final, mate, I was really confident of us winning. I didn't think we'd do it the way we did do it, because it was very touch and go a lot in that final, wasn't it?
Yeah, they wanted to obviously win it as much as they could. They wanted the bragging rights for going back to Brazil, and they had some really good players. Like you said, like they were there on merit. Some really, really good technical players. You've got the likes of Rafinha right back, who was trying to get under Mane's skin and trying to rile him up. He got work for the first half, and second half he was tearing them up. And you got Robertson and telling Mane at half time, "Don't worry, I'll look after him for you, lad." And all that, and it's just like those little moments, just how much it meant to the team and the squad, and the fact that we got on to, I think it was an extra time, wasn't it, in the end, where Bobby scores the number 9, the Brazilians, and scores to beat a Brazilian team, and it was just one of them. We got over the line finally, and it was just, I celebrated that goal. Probably one of the most wildly I have all season, just because it was a grueling game. Like you said, they had so many good players, and there was times where I thought, are they going to nick one here? And
absolutely.
Yeah, is it going to be the same again? And we're going to have to wait until we win the Champions League again to get another shot at it. But no, Bobby steps up and flags a goal, and I was literally made up when that went in, and that doesn't prove that how much that competition means to us, and it should mean the same to anyone who gets in that position, any team.
Correct.
It's one of those trophies that not many people can win, and we finally got our names on it and made up by that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Now, bit of a spooky thing now, because we come back to the UK a couple of days before Crimbo. We have Crimbo, and then obviously Boxing Day we're playing Leicester away, and then City are playing Wolves the next day. Now, we spoke earlier about City losing to Wolves, and then on like the day before we beat Leicester, and the same thing happened again. We beat Leicester. The day later, they lost to Wolves. I just love how stuff like that works out. It just absolutely blows my mind. But talk about the Leicester game, mate. 4-0 Boxing Day. Everyone shits themselves thinking we might have a bit of jet lag, a bit of hangover from being world champions. Mate, please tell us what happened on Boxing Day.
Well, I think obviously they were our nearest rivals at the time. I think after that, we were 10 points behind, I think. And obviously after that game, after we absolutely blown them away, we were 13 points clear. And like you said, there was a bit of worry that there was going to be a bit of jet lag and there was going to be a bit of tiredness, and that would have been expected. Like I was expecting an Old Trafford type performance where we might just nick a 1-0 or something like that. But for me, and I think a lot of people agree that was probably the best performance of the season. The fact that we go there. It's not like a Villa Park or an Old Trafford where you fear going there because it's just Leicester, but they were flying at the time, doing really well in the league. Obviously, like I touched on our nearest rivals, and to go there and just absolutely blow them away from getting two, and Mane and Trent all bagging. Jordan Henderson was just, if Trent wouldn't have scored toward that end, that belter, I think Henderson would have probably got man of the match, because for me he was just an absolute. It was just relentless. It was just that with the task they'd clear it, we'd recycle it back at the pitch again, and it was just that for 90 minutes, and it was just like this team are just unbelievable. Like I said, Trent again was just terrific. The assist for Firmino, where he then controls it with like his feet studs and then just places the top corner, and then Trent bags a worldie after a lung bust and run in like the 70 odd minute. Late towards the game, but it was just another one of them performances where we just thought this could be it, and we didn't. I think we were doing pods, and we were like, we don't want to believe it, we're not going to believe it. Kept saying this every week, didn't we? But we did, mate. Yeah. But while we weren't recording, we were kind of saying we do kind of believe it, but we don't want to say it because we don't want to. We didn't want to jinx anything, and I think that's right, because obviously we've been burned that much in the past, doing so well so early in seasons, and then it trailing off towards the end. But I think when you look back, this was one of the games that proved to the fans, and I think to the players themselves, just how good this team is, and to batter your absolute closest rivals by that much. And like you said, then City can go and drop points, another double whammy. It just fell perfectly for us, and it just pushed us that much further ahead and gave us that much more breathing space to kick on.
Right, mate. 2 secs. I'm just checking something.
Go ahead.
Nah, we're all good. Still recording.
I
was just checking the other camera. Yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. It was a defining moment, and then it just settled nicely, didn't it, to finish the year? Obviously, we then went on to beat Wolves 1-0 anyway. And again, a gutsy performance from the Reds, where Wolves might feel very unfortunate that they didn't get a point out of that game. Again, it's the VAR offside rule with the toes or the fingernail or the armpit, and I hope that does get sorted for next season, and they have a discussion about what they can get away with and all that sort of stuff. Because before VAR, the offside rule was you gave the striker the benefit of the doubt. That's how it worked, because the game's all about scoring goals, and if it is a toe or a hair or a fingernail, come on, let's just forget about it. Do you know what I mean? It just let it go. But January comes, and we defeat Sheffield United 2-0, and then we go into a very famous, if not the most famous, FA Cup derby of all time. Honestly, mate, it just makes me laugh to this day because we all know what happened, and we all knew damn well that going into January, being top of the league, being X amount of points clear, we knew the FA Cup was dropping in its priority. And Klopp he got a lot of shit for it, but we didn't care, did we? Because we had a Premier League title to win. We wanted to pick this trophy up. Yes, we were still going for number 7 in the Champions League as well. It was always going to take a drop, but the fact that he played the kids and the game kicks off against Everton, and Everton, to be fair to Everton, they had a really good couple of chances in that first half where they could have gone 1 or 2 up, and James Milner goes off in, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, the Ev might actually get a result here at Anfield, but no, didn't fucking happen, did it, Mick?
No, and I'm just looking at while you were chatting, and I was just looking to get the team news up for that game, and it's crazy. They've literally got a first team.
Yeah.
We've got Adrian Williams, Phillips, Gomez, Milner, left back goes off after 9 minutes. Balana, Chirivella, Jones, Elliott, and Minamino and Origi. And you think he's put obviously a team out to try and win the game, but if there's ever a chance Everton were going to win a game at Anfield anytime soon, that was fucking it. And then Curtis Jones just pops up with an absolute, and it was another game I watched with you. It was me, you and Dan, wasn't it? And yours.
Yeah.
Pops up with an absolute worldie in the 71st minute.
Goal of the season in the FA Cup. It's been voted as well, so fair play to him.
Yeah, little arms can't get to it, and it was just another one of them moments where you look back and think that was like it all blurs into one. Like you touched on before the 5-5 with Arsenal. That was another one when you mentioned it, I'd actually forgot it was like last season because there was that so many finer moments. You just kind of forget about the less of the finer moments, if that makes sense. And it was that was one of the picks of the season. Now Curtis Jones announced himself on the stage, and what a player! And he's gone on to make a few appearances since, and he looks the real deal. And a Scouser knocking the Ev out the cup, so we couldn't have went better.
It couldn't have, mate. It couldn't have. And I'm glad you just mentioned Curtis Jones because the two shining lights that came out of that was Curtis Jones and Nico Williams. He had a fantastic game as well, didn't he? And he was raising questions then about Trent and the whole moving into midfield because we've got Nico Williams type thing as well. So that's a conversation for another podcast, mate. I'm sick of talking about that at the minute because I don't want Trent to move anywhere. He's staying at right back. But it was great for Williams and great attitude for the kids to come up and do that. Harvey Elliott looked great as well that game as well. So it was, and obviously Minamino getting his first Anfield proper run out, which was nice. There's a new signing. He's walked into a fantastic squad. But then the following week, mate, we had a very defining week where we had Tottenham away and then we had United at home, and we all thought that this is it now. If we can pick up 6 points out of 6 against these two top sides, ish, we've got a very good chance now of going on and doing it now, and that's it. Going into that week away at Tottenham and United at home, where was your mind at?
I think I was always thinking in the back of my mind, like that little nagging doubt, when are we going to lose a game? And I think every Liverpool fan had that little voice in the back of their going, it's going to happen eventually. It's going to come. Yeah. And we just seem to just keep, like I said, just keep batting them aside. Like to have Spurs away, which is always tricky, and United at home, even like I said, Old Trafford's tricky to go to, but even playing United at home is always a cagey affair, especially since Solskjaer's came on and he goes like 5-3-2 and packs the back four and two cold midfielders and whatever, and it's hard to break through. It says a lot that you come to Liverpool teams and do that, but no, it was just another 2 games. I think at the time when you're encapsulated in the actual game and the build up, you're worrying about like how Spurs, how it's Man United. But when you look back at it, you think, well, 2 games, that just another 2 boxes we need to tick on the way to finally getting that Premier League crown. And it was just we didn't make a light work of it. We worked our fucking socks off, and we deserved to get the 6 out of 6 points. But it was just another string to Klopp's bow, and it was just another 2 ticks in the boxes that settled us on the way to that Premier League crown, and it was just boss.
Definitely, mate. But going into that Man United game, the day before, obviously, City had dropped points against Palace. That had finished a draw, and that sort of put even more pressure and turned up the atmosphere even more at Anfield, because we knew we beat our biggest rivals, if you like, in Manchester United, and we beat them, and we thought we knew. I mean, we go 1-0 up through Big Verge, and then the game is on. I wouldn't say it was on a tilt where it could have gone either way. Where United did have some really, really big moments in that game where they could have equalised, but the moment towards the end of the game where Alisson just gets that ball, pumps it up to Salah, and he puts it in the back of the net, and I've never felt Anfield shake like that in a long time. Where it was a different kind of shake. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we'd seen big goals, we've seen big results in terms of European, but we knew damn well that winning against Man United would have changed things. They were so close to getting an equaliser, and we've just done that. It felt like a massive weight off the shoulders. And I was sat right near the United fans in the main stand, and I could just see them. Their heads had just dropped, and we'd finally heard the song that we'd not heard since the 13-14 season of Now You're Gonna Believe Us. I think then we were all going home going, yeah, we've done it now.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think the feeling was it was more of a burst of relief rather than like a celebration of a goal. And
Yeah.
It is funny when you watch back that Salah goal, because on the reverse camera you can see Van Dijk telling Alisson just to keep hold of it, and Alisson's like, no, Alisson, like, fuck that, Salah's away here. And he goes and scores, and then he performs a little Pepe Reina homage style run down the pitch, slides into, and it's just one of them iconic moments where you look back and you'll always sing, like, it'll always be synonymous with that 2020 title win season, and it was boss. And I think just looking now at the match report, and that means it goes 16 points clear for the game in hand. So that as well was just another cherry on the cake to what we said. We weren't worried they were going to score, but I think when United come to town, it's always like, are they going to catch one? Been times over the years where we've battered them at Anfield and they come away with a 1-0 win. I remember one in particular where Rudy scored at Anfield and he didn't deserve it. And it was just little things like that where it always plays your mind, and you always think, I'm going to do it again. Seems a little jammy bastards, but no, it was just that relief of tension with Boston to go 16 points clear at that stage was just terrific.
It was, mate. Tough game afterwards, the following week against Wolves. Again, barely got out with the 3 points, didn't we? And then we've got another funny FA Cup tie against Shrewsbury away with 2-0 up, and we end up drawing 2-2. And fair play to Shrewsbury. They were fantastic that night, especially in that second half. And one of the great things the following week when we played West Ham away, mate, was that was a ground last season where we slipped up, where we dropped points. I'm nearly going to say we dropped points at Upton Park, but we dropped points at London Stadium last year, and that affected us in the February last year of not winning the league. Whereas this time I was worried about us going there, but we turned that around and we got the 3 points. And like you said at the beginning of the podcast, it's the mentality behind that as well. We go into February and it's a great 4-0 win against Southampton. Albeit, it's Shrewsbury Town in the FA Cup, and again, the younger lads did fantastic in that game again. Credit to Shrewsbury, they pushed us all the way. So it was really good. And I'm racing through them, mate, because obviously I don't want to go through every single match. Like, I just want to pick up against it, because we've gone through the FA Cup, we've beaten Norwich away again. Another scrappy 1-0. We'd done it though, we nailed it. And then it was back to Champions League, and it was the knockout stages. And we drew Atletico Madrid, and I think we did a match preview, didn't we? It was one of our last match previews, wasn't it, before COVID had hit. And I remember chatting to you, and I was a little bit more confident. You were a bit more level-headed about it, mate, and rightly so. You should have been, because I've said this to you many times that I just fall in love with the Champions League and all that sort of stuff and the nitty-gritty behind it. But drawing Atletico Madrid, we knew we were in for a tough game, and we knew we had to get something out of that first leg, and unfortunately we didn't, did we?
No, and I think I watched that one with you, didn't I? We done a pod straight after, and it must have been like the first 5 minutes they scored. I think it was like a corner, and it's just hit Fabinho's legs, and it's just one of them where it's no one's fault. It's foot sailed over someone dead. If Fabinho was kneecap and then landed it, so Saul's feet and he bagged it, and it's just, and then they've gone on and kept us out and played really well, and probably deserved the win overall. But it was frustrating. I think we at that stage in middle of February, we were just absolutely batting Premier League sides away for fun, and we were just literally getting over as we quickly came to expect that. It wasn't like we thought, oh, this could be the beginning or anything crazy like that. It was just kind of like that. We had the level of performance dropped slightly, and that bit of luck just went against us for once rather than went for us, and it was just the set of circumstances was just you couldn't really argue against it. It was going to come to a time where the luck slightly went against us, and it did that night, and it was just one of them where we had to try and claw it back. And yeah, we'll come to that one in a minute.
That's it. I think we both said it in the pod, didn't we? Said like we're getting back to Anfield and we won't put up with the shit tactics and not the shit tactics, the shit house tactics that they were sort of employing at the Wanda. But obviously it was a matter of a few more games between them. Again, we played West Ham at home. We'd gone 1-0 down there. It's a 3-2 win. A great victory overall. Again, mentality monsters again. And then just a freak the following Saturday, getting beat 3-0 at Watford, and then there goes the Invincible season, which that one got really stuck there, mate, because I was so excited that I felt that we might go the whole season unbeaten. But listen, everybody's has a bad day, and that was our bad day.
Yeah, I think it was mainly. I think everyone was happy we didn't win Invincibles, but I think Arsenal they didn't want us to get that little shit golden trophy that they were. It would have been great. Don't get me wrong. It would have been absolute. Would have been boss to get, but it was just one of them days where, like I said, that Atletico game. It was just a set of circumstances that went against us. This one was just we didn't turn up. They played really well, and they just punished us at every opportunity. And we went 1-0 down, and I was like watching it with my mates in the pub. I was like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll do what we usually do." And then they just scored again, and I was like, "Well, no, 2 down. Can we do it now?" And I still had belief because they make it have that belief. And then when you get the third one, you're like, "Well, game's definitely over now." And when you look back at the game, they deserved it. Like Ismail Assar done really well, and Trodini played really well. As a team, they defended quite stoutly and done a good job on us. And if you want to win against Liverpool, you've got to match us for effort, and you've got to have a major rub in the green. I think they had both on the day. Definitely,
mate. Definitely. And then March hits, and then obviously it's a monumental month for a lot of the UK. But focusing on the football for a minute, the first game was against Chelsea in the FA Cup. We fielded quite a strong side, and got beat 2-0. And unfortunately, Adrian does make a mistake, because I mean every goalkeeper's got a mistake, and let's not beat around the bush on that. But he came under, I thought, a little bit too much criticism considering what he'd done for us for at the beginning of the season in terms of keeping clean sheets and stuff like that, and really helping Alisson out quite a bit. I felt a little bit, but I was disappointed we went out the FA Cup, mate, because I did think because we were so far ahead in the league, I thought, we'll box that off, and then we could win the FA Cup for the first time since 2006. I was gutted.
Yeah, and to go out, and it was the 5th round, wasn't it? Still early days. I expected us to at least get to like a quarter or a semi at least, and make a bit of a fist of it. And like you said, like Klopp was rotating players quite a bit, so we were trying to keep as many fresh legs as we could. So I was hoping we'd go a bit further than that, but no, it was just one of them. Adrian had a bit of a bad day, and we were punished because of it. And really, when you look back, and we won the Premier League trophy, I don't care that we went out at that stage now. At the time, it did sting a bit, and I think, fucking hell, like the FA Cup's always one. We've had a bit of a love affair with it. Like obviously we've touched on another podcast with Sissoko and Malo Sissoko and Bolo Zenden and all kinds about like the FA Cup and what it means to Liverpool and stuff. And the EVG final and all that. There's so many moments where you think this is one of my favourite trophies, just from the pure joy it's brought us in the past. But just one of them where it didn't happen. But we cracked on regardless anyway.
Well, that's it, mate. And like you've just said there, a lot of players that have played for Liverpool, they value the FA Cup massively, don't they? I mean, we had the great chat with Marcus Babbel and Sander Westerveld about the treble season, didn't we? And Marcus Babbel said how good the FA Cup final was, and yeah, that will always be my favourite FA Cup final. I think with the way we won that and helped win the treble, like, but yeah, disappointing. And then 7th of March 2020 was the game against Bournemouth, where it was the last time we'd play at Anfield for a long time. Last time we play a Premier League football for a good few months, and it's a 2-1 win. It's a mentality game. James Milner pulls off a fantastic goal line clearance and deservedly man of the match. And he had that aura about him because he knew he was going into the game as captain, and you saw him pre-match talking to the players and stuff like that. And again, it was great 3 points, and another 3 points chalked off, which was great. And then the following Wednesday we had Atletico Madrid at home, which was the last game at Anfield for a good few months. Alisson's in goal. We don't go out of that Champions League. That's the way it's got to be said. But the goalie had an absolute worldie that day, and I was sat in the lower Kemlin for that game, and there was part of me that just thought, I just don't know if this is going to be our day, because we had that many chances, and then obviously we score in extra time to go ahead, and you just think, right, we've got this now. I thought we'll do it, but yeah, it was disappointing, that, wasn't it, mate? That game.
Yeah, like you said, it was. You don't want to blame Adrian, because for me, he's been as good as he could be in the circumstances. Like, you put Alisson in goal and you replace him with any other like second string goalie in the world, they're not. They're gonna look a bit shit, because Alisson is one of the best in the world, and he's highly rated by everyone. Everyone says that how unbelievable he is, and we've seen that last couple of seasons. He's just like he's the one of the key players alongside Van Dijk that we needed, and you can take either of them out, then you're going to struggle, and that was the case. And the mistakes that Adrian made were a bit like, oh God, like he's kicked out and a bad clearance, and then he's not even in the middle of his goal to try and
counteract it, yeah.
And it's just like a double whammy, and you're like, oh God. And then, like you said, like Genie getting that goal, and like it's on, and then we're thinking, because we've got such high hopes for this team, and we know how good they are, and how never say die attitude and all that. We think we're gonna get back in there, and we did. And then it's just little stuff like that you can't legislate for, really. And like you said, if you get that Western goal, there's absolutely no way we got off that game. And obviously, like you said, our Black had a tremendous game as well. So
yeah,
it just proved even more that we were missing Alisson, because on the opposite end in the sticks was another one of the best keepers in the world, and he showed how it's done. But yeah, that was really a difficult one to take, and I think especially with all the coronavirus stuff floating around, where Madrid was a hot spot, and should they be able to fly over? Should it be postponed for a bit, or should it be cancelled? And whatever, was loads of stuff was flying around, weren't it? And in hindsight, really, it shouldn't have went ahead. And I'm not saying that's because we got beat, because that would have been a bonus, like. But
yeah,
how many thousands of people from Madrid fly over to Anfield, and it's, when you look back at it, it was a bit of a travesty, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was indeed, and it was dead funny. The lad I went to the match with, he'd been to Cheltenham the day before as well, so he was like shitting himself, thinking, "Oh God, what have I done wrong here? I've gone to Cheltenham. I've come to a game against Madrid." But yeah, I think the way the Champions League has sort of panned out right now, obviously as we're recording this, we're the quarterfinals have just finished now. It's even more of a stick stuck in my throat thing, because we could certainly go on to win it again. That's where it gets really frustrating for me when I look at the Champions League now. Don't get me wrong, circumstances that happened last night, I am now completely comfortable with whoever wins the Champions League now. I'm not going to be bothered. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a shame. But you know, luckily the way we are sat now as a circumstance of the world right now, we've not got long before the Champions League starts up again, mate. So we can certainly make a crack on for number 7. But as you touched on there, after that game, that was the last game of football we played for a long time, and the worldwide pandemic that is the coronavirus has hit everybody hard. And there was a wonder of whether football would ever return. And at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing in the world. And everybody that's been working for the NHS and working in services and carrying on working during this global pandemic, it's hats off to everybody out there. And I certainly appreciate everything that those people have done. And it's so sad that we've lost so many people. And again, we're a football podcast. We talk about Liverpool a lot, and it's such a shame that there has been many Liverpool supporters that have passed away during the pandemic that haven't got to see us lift the Premier League trophy in the flesh, but I'm sure they're all looking down on us anyway. But when there was talk about football coming back, did you feel that did you feel it was ever going to come back?
I think when we done the podcast, I think we were chatting about like how it will be out of action for maybe a month, but no, or 4 weeks, 6 weeks. No one really knew, did they, the scale of it and what it would go on to become. And then I think it was literally 3 months, wasn't it, before the ball was kicked on the 11th of June. We had a friendly against Blackburn, and we would had like a little pre-season again, I suppose, before we cracked on again. But no, it was just some of the things. It was unprecedented, wasn't it? It was just, it was after a couple of months, you're thinking, you're worrying, is it going to come back? Not from a selfish standpoint, you want it to, because you want Liverpool to finally get their hands on the Premier League trophy, because we were on course to do so. But then you're thinking, well, lives of people matter more than football, unfortunately. So it was just getting that, and I know it's a fine line to try and cross, and in that regard, trying to intertwine the both, trying to get the safety of people and getting football back as soon as possible, because that's what everyone wanted. We were all stuck in our houses. Lockdown, we wanted a bit of football to watch, and the fact that the footy did come back 3 months later, and there was no fans, and we had all this new stadium noise, optionables, and all that stuff. It was interesting, and for me, towards the end, after a couple of games, I got used to the no fans. Like I was choosing the options with no stadium noise, because it was actually quite interesting to listen to the manager's chat, and the characters like Milner and Hendo just absolutely giving people grief if they weren't doing stuff the way they wanted it to. And it was a nice insight into like a training match type thing, which you don't get to see.
Really. No, absolutely. No, you're right, mate. And I think with all over the summer, you had the null and void brigade, didn't you? You know, just null and void it. Put an asterisk next to the Premier League title if you're going to give it to Liverpool. And there was talk about it being awarded to us, which obviously we all didn't want, because we didn't want our first Premier League title to have the so-called asterisk on it and all that sort of stuff. But then when the French league was just finished, and when the Scottish league was finished, a little part of me was going, oh, it could happen. I'm thinking, no, the Premier League's too big. It's too big not to carry on. It's too big for TV rights not to play the games. And I tell you what, mate, hats off to the Premier League, to Sky, to BBC, to Amazon, to BT for clubbing together and broadcasting every single game, because it felt like a World Cup. It felt like a Euros. It felt like, there's footy every day. And it was absolutely brilliant. And we're going to do a podcast in a couple of weeks regarding what we think the TV deal should look like in the future after this experience. So look out for that episode. That's coming very soon. And I think it's set a precedent now where it's so easy to broadcast games at 3 o'clock. It's so easy to broadcast football all day, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And you're right, it has bonded the country again, because we had something to watch, and there was Zoom calls all the time with all the lads that we go the match with, and we were doing weekly quizzes, and it was a nice little positive out of everything. And like you said, we had a friendly against Blackburn, which was 6-0, which was great. Nice little win, nice little warm up, and then another 0-0 at Goodison, man. Jesus, just can't seem to win there.
Yeah, I think we all got on the Zoom call for that one, didn't we? And we were all thinking, we weren't sure what to expect. Is it going to be training-esque type feel to it? Is it going to be, I don't know, it was just like, it was quite nervous, and then we could have lost it. We could have lost the game.
I know, yeah.
Played really well. And going to Goodison Park with a full house is nerve-wracking enough to go there with no fans, not knowing what to expect, and
yeah,
the fact that we played quite well, and we both teams could have nicked it, and the fact that it was 0-0, I was toward the end, I was like, I'm glad it's ended that game. I was like, Jesus Christ, just blow the whistle, just like give us 1 point and just let's crack on, because it was just lovely to get back, and we just wanted it to go, the transition to be smooth. Obviously, we'd seen the Bundesliga in a couple of weeks previous. We're all loving watching the German league and seeing how they were going about it, and they weren't having any setbacks, and it was promising for Liverpool fans that we weren't going to have any of the same issues because there were no fans in the stadium. And thankfully it did go smoothly, and like you said, hats off to all the TV companies for putting that little package together and making football come back as soon as it did. It was a great time.
The 0-0 against Everton was sort of like, we were, again, the negative Nancy's came out again, didn't they? We're just like, we're playing really shit and we're not going to do it. And I think, oh my God, these lads haven't played football for months, and they've, it's just get a grip. It's Goodison at the end of the day. They're always up for it. It's Everton's cup final. It's always a tough place to go, Goodison, and rightly so, because no matter what Everton team played, whenever they're at Goodison, they don't want to get beat by Liverpool. So I thought it just calm down, because, another win in our next 2 games and it's over. And then the following Wednesday, it's Crystal Palace. It's 4-0. What a fucking performance that was. And we were on the cusp. We were 2 points then. That was it. That was the game we knew. We win that, and we're right there. It was either City and Chelsea, they'll decide it for us, and then we get the Guard of Honour at City, or we go to the Etihad and we win it in their back garden.
Yeah, I think for me, that, like I said, the Leicester game and the Leicester away win and the Aston Villa away win are on a par for me with this game, because, like we said, like that Everton game, we just wanted it to be over because we weren't at our best, and it was quite a nervous feeling to it all. But that game, it was just back to the usual, just absolute full tempo. I didn't even realise you forgot there was no fans in the stadium, because we were just like it was just high press. It was just pure energy. Like Trent scores that free kick after 25 minutes, and it sets us on our way. And like, obviously, every goal was just like, wow. Like
it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't remember a game where I've thought like every goal I've been like, Jesus Christ, what a goal that is. All 4 of them. Like, obviously, there's been times where we bagged 3 and like 2 of them were good, but this one I was just like, Trent was boss, and then you got Salah's. Fabinho was just absolute rocket, and then Mane with the through ball from Salah off his weak foot, and he just slots it in. And just like, Jesus Christ, this is like, that was it. Any game to prove how good Liverpool are and how deserving the champions we are. It was that one, because we were just electric.
That's it, mate. And the smiles after the game, Trent, Klopp, they did the post-match interviews, and the smile on Trent's face. I mean, he's got a great smile as it is anyway, but the smile on his face was just unbelievable, because he knew what he's about to achieve with this football team. And okay, so it's the next night. It's Chelsea versus City. Zoom calls are plenty again. And I tell you what, mate, I'm going into that game, I'm thinking, remember that day? It was so hot. It was absolutely boiling hot that day. And I'm going into that game thinking, they could do it, they could do it. And I'm also thinking, yeah, but this is still City at the end of the day. And I just thought, but yeah, Chelsea just, it was absolutely brilliant. What a night that was. I couldn't have wanted to win it any other way, if I'm being honest. Everything just fell into place. You're watching and 2 teams like you don't normally give a shit about when they're playing each other, but you're cheering every goal, and it was so weird, but I just loved every second of it.
It was a mad game, like loads of stuff happening, like the VAR and penalties and red cards, and like, when you watch the Boss little document from LFC TV about Klopp's champions, where Klopp talks through every game, and all the lads, which they're all watching that game, and they're all screaming, "Handball, red card!" And it's just like you have to pinch yourself. It's just like these players are just like we're just so lucky, like that we've got them. And I remember just watching that bit, just thinking, this is just crazy. with dreamed of this since I was a kid. Like, I was born in 1989, so I've never seen a Premier League trophy in the arms of Liverpool captain in the flesh or on TV in my lifetime, and it was just one of the moments where it was just very, very surreal. You can't put it into words, and it took me a while just to get to grips with that, and it was just it was just tremendous to get over that line and to finally, for a generation, to finally realise the dreams.
That's it, mate. And it was so fitting, wasn't it? I mean, we both tweeted it, didn't we, on the Kopite? We spoke about it that night. Was the fact that the game had sort of finished on the 96th minute. A lot of people picked up on that, which was really, really nice. A nice little added touch there. And I think when things are going to fit and fall into place, that was one of the things that was absolutely magical. And yeah, it's madness. The 25th of June 2020 is the day that Liverpool finally became Premier League champions, and yeah, again it was very, very surreal, and it hadn't sunk in for a long time for me. Because we'd still had games to play, and we'd won it with 7 games to go, which is the earliest that anybody's ever won it. That was another magic thing that we did, and we still had the trophy lift. And like I said, okay, we've won it. There's a talk about it, but we haven't seen the trophy lift yet. We haven't seen this beautiful thing in Hendo's hands yet, so that was something to look forward to. And you know what, mate? I'm not going to talk about the games in between because the point's all not even asked about. I'm skipping straight to the Chelsea game because that was the night that everyone was waiting for. And fair play to the club and the Premier League for putting on the spectacle that they did. And I said at the time that it could change the way the Premier League trophy sort of delivered from now on, and making it more of a spectacle rather than the traditional English way of just doing it in the middle of the pitch on a Sunday afternoon and making it an even bigger thing than it actually is. And yeah, it was such a shame that we did it without the fans being in there and the players coming up one by one. And I'm glad the players' families were there. They so deserved that moment to share with their families, and the players lapped it up. But describe how you were feeling that game, because I didn't give a shit whether we won or lost that game because I knew what was happening at the end. But what a game it was for a very fitting day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a fucking 13-14 Brendan Rodgers. 5-3, it was just mad. Like I said, it wasn't. I wanted us to win. I wanted us to go up and lift that trophy after beating Chelsea, another one of the up-and-coming teams in the league and one of the best teams in the league, and rightly everyone go and get a medal round the neck and they'll lift that trophy. So the fact that we went on and won it, that was just another added bonus. Like I said, I didn't really care in the grand scheme of things, but it was just that moment that we'd all waited for. And like you said, it wasn't a traditional way where fans in the stadium and traditional way that we all wanted to see it happen, but the way that they did it on the Kop with getting King Kenny involved, and
nice moment.
That could easily become the new normal. Like, even with fans in the stadium having like a little presentation bit on the Kop like that, I don't think anyone would be averse to that. Obviously, I mean, like, you'd be in the centre of the pitch is better so everyone can see a bit better, but for me that was
but the spectacle of it they could do, couldn't they?
Yeah, the spectacle of it, and the fact that they made the best of a bad situation in that regard, where no fans in the stadium. It was boss. It was just one of them. Like, I watched it in the pub with my mates, and it was just one of them. It was just like, Jesus Christ, it's actually happened. Like, Hendo's, obviously he was injured, so he weren't playing during the game, and then we're wondering, he's going to do the shuffle. Are we going to see Hendo shuffle number 4? We're going to see it for the 4th time, and then he did it. And I was just like, couldn't believe it. Like, I was just asking my mate, how do you feel? Like how to describe it? And it's just like, no, there's no words. You're just like unreal. Like, it's just like one word. You can't really elaborate on it. And I don't even think I can now. It's just one of them things where like you're just so happy to finally realise. Like you said, when the Chelsea City game where it actually happened, we were happy it happened, but we wanted to see it like to realise that dream of seeing Jordan Henderson lift that trophy and seeing him lift so many in that recent period as well. I think that's 4 trophies in 15 months, which is crazy. I think that proves just how good this Liverpool team is and still can be in the future. But no, it's just one of the moments where you think this is why we support Liverpool, and this is why we get so emotionally invested in it all. And this is literally why we're doing these podcasts, to try and give fans opinion and what we think of what this Liverpool team are doing, and yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I tell you what, it doesn't half look good with red ribbons on. Listen, we're not even going to carry on with the rest of the season in terms of like the games that we had left, because it was great to get Guard of Honours every single week. And we finished the season on 99 points. Okay, yeah, we didn't get the record points total, but to get as many points as this team has done in 2 seasons is unbelievable. And I definitely think next season we can go go the same again, do the same again, maybe get even more points next season. But we got our subscribers and followers and viewers to get involved, a little vote. So we'll do these now, mate, and we'll see how you agree with them. So the first thing that we did was the best player. And there was Mo Salah, who got 6% of the vote. Virgil van Dijk got 11%, Jordan Henderson 36%, and Sadio Mane got 47% of the vote. Can't argue with that, really, can you? I know Jordan Henderson got the Football Writers Association Player of the Year, which is a completely different thing. It's both on and off the pitch. But Sadio Mane, mate, yeah, he was definitely our standout Player of the Year, wasn't he?
He was just, like we touched on, the Villa game where he gets a goal and assist and drags us from potential defeat, and we're winning a game against Villa at Villa Park, and it didn't look like it was happening 5 minutes ago. It's just one of them. He's just world class, and he dragged us through many a game this season. Same as Jordan Henderson. Either of them for me could have won the Premier League Player of the Year. Obviously, it's been announced in the last couple of hours. Kevin De Bruyne's won it, which we've touched on before. He deserves it because
absolutely
20 assists. That's the level amount with Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry, for me, maybe the best player, well, best import into the Premier League we've ever had, potentially. So the fact that he's matched them with assists is mad, and that just proves how good he is. And I mean, we all know how much of a good footballer he is. But yeah, back to Mane, 47% of the votes. I don't think we can really argue with that. Him and Hendo were just but it's mad when you think like Salah got 19 Prem goals, and Van Dijk was just immense again, and Alisson was just immense again, and
crazy,
Trent got 13 assists, I think, and Robbo got 12, and it's just fucking hell, like, so spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
Being the boss when he had a bad injury and he come back and had a bit of a tough time getting back up to speed, but then when he was boss again, goal against Palace, boss again. It's just like we've got so many spoiled for choice. But yeah, Sadio Mane.
Yeah, Sadio Mane is the Kopite Player of the Year. Surprise package. We had a few votes for this as well. You had Elliott, Jones, and Williams, and with 45% of the vote, Curtis Jones. Again, we've touched on it during this episode, haven't we? How good he's been in terms of like getting into the squad, solidifying his place in sort of like he's always an option off the bench. Couple of banging goals that he's come into, and now he's lowered his squad number now to number 17, which Stevie G used to have, and Big Ragnar Klavan had that number as well. So some absolute legends who's had that. Oh, and Steve McManaman as well, before I forget. Yeah, Curtis Jones, mate, deserve winner of that.
Yeah. Don't think I've had any more to that. Like Scouser, he's got a new deal. He's young lad. He's got
it's exciting.
World is fucking oyster in it, really. He can do good as he wants to be.
Absolutely, mate. Look forward to see what he's going to be doing next year. You also put up, mate, for the best game, and the options you put up were the Chelsea game at Anfield, Anfield 5-2 against Everton, Palace 4-0, and the Leicester game 4-0, and way out in front with 79% of the vote was Leicester 4-0 away. Mate, you spoke earlier just how good that Leicester game was, and I think you were right with what you said was once we'd done that, that was up there with United as the most defining moment of the season, Premier League-wise. Yeah,
I don't think you can argue with that. Like, I didn't put Villa in there because, to be honest, I forgot at the time, but I did put if your preferred option isn't in there, drop us a comment. No one dropped a comment, so I know, like you said, 79% of the votes there, 5 away the winner. Yeah, at that time of the season, it was just one of them. Like you said, it was the defining moment for me. That pushed us on to win the title.
Yep. And then the best moment, you know, there was 4 different options here. There was the Hendo shuffle, there was the shuffle of Hendo, there was Hendo doing his shuffle, or just a shuffle. And the winner was the Hendo shuffle. And that's absolutely spot on, mate. Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. The best moment was the moment that this got lifted, mate. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that, mate. And for me, it was my best moment of the season as well. Is finally seeing that that trophy getting lifted, and yeah, it's not going to be topped that moment for a long, long time.
No, well, I was going to put a few more in there, but I thought, really, who's going to be saying, "Oh yeah, when Mane scored the winner against Villa"? Really, it could be. It was a boss moment, but for me, for us to, like I said, finally realise our dreams, to see Jordan Henderson much maligned.
Yeah.
Been at Anfield since 2011. Nearly left the club. Fucking nearly had Clint fucking Dempsey at the club. Just loads of circumstances. Could have went, stayed, fought for his position, got made captain, worked his fucking arse off every day. Got loads and loads and loads of shit from the whole country. Quite a lot of Liverpool fans as well. Myself included now and again, where I thought he's not cut out for it. It was times where I thought that myself, and I'm sure everyone did at some stage in his career, where he thought, is he right for us? Is he going to take us to the next level? And it's testament to the guy, and he's just it's crazy to think. Like, you think 2011 when he signed this young lad from the northeast is going to come down, and he's going to take us on to win Premier League and Champions League titles, doing a little Hendo shuffle, and we're going to laugh about it and just have these moments where we look back in like 20 years and go, what a season that was, what a year 2020 was. Like,
yeah,
coronavirus nearly wiping the old season out, and then we come back and we get over the line, and dreams are realised. Hendo finally lifts the trophy. Trent's the first Scouser to win in 30 years, and just little moments like that where it's just like, and then there's all players coming out on Twitter and Instagram, like Fowler and Gerrard and all that, just like, and you think like how much hurt we've been through to get to this stage, and it like hits home. Like, it's just such a moment, and it just makes you feel so blessed and like so appreciative of this team. And it's just, yeah, Hendo shuffle, bring it on next season. I can't wait for it.
Absolutely, mate. Bring it on next season. Well, that has been our season review. Thanks for sticking with us for the full hour. We appreciate it. If you've watched it in a few parts, that's great as well. Just keep coming back to it as well. But just to sum it up a little bit more as well, at the Kopite, which you might not know about, is we've produced a book which has reviewed the entire season. It's sort of really, really cool souvenir to commemorate us winning our 19th league title. And it's a project that we've all worked really, really hard on. We're all super, super proud of it. Me and Mick are in there, although Mick looks a lot better in there than I do with his smouldering Higuain look. But no, we've worked hard on it, and we're very, very proud of it at the minute. And we've put the link in the description where you can go and get your copy. We'd really appreciate your support with it. Again, like I said, we've worked hard, really proud on it. Some really good articles from a number of contributors lending their thoughts. We've got match by match previews as well, with all the results from every single match week as well. We've got stuff on the Nike deal. We've got stuff on the future stars. And we've got stuff on what's next for Liverpool. And what is next for Liverpool, we don't know. But as you can tell from this podcast, that me and Mick are really, really excited to see where this team can go. And yeah, Mick, like you just said, mate, bring on next season, eh?
Yeah, and I've seen the magazine. Obviously, it'll look like a souvenir magazine, and it looks tremendous. Like, I think there's a Kopite 2, you get £2 off it. Check out as well. Free UK shipping. So yeah, it's worth getting. It's a nice way to commemorate this season, and just keep it on your bedside table for this year, and then in a couple of years throw it in the drawer, and you can get out in 10 years and go, oh, there we go. Have a look at this bad boy. Let's have a look for this match report and just like see how far we've come, because this season like this don't come round that often. No. To get 99 points, it's not unprecedented in these times, because Man City are that good and have been that good. But for Liverpool to get over the line and do it, it was a great little idea to put that out there. And like you said, some great pieces in there. One from you in particular about the Nike deal, which was great read. And if you go onto the clip from this onto the rest of our channel of videos, Jay's got a boss little video on there, a bit more detail about that with what it could mean commercially for the club. And I'd urge you to check that out because it's a really good little watch. So yeah, definitely go and buy it. I think it's at 12 quid, is it? So you get 2 quid off with the discount for UK shipping. Give it a go because it's worth having in your drawer for the future where you can look back on and reminisce.
Absolutely, mate. And like you just said, mate, it's all about reminiscing for this. And we just want to say on behalf of me and Mick is thanks for being with us on this journey that we've done on the Kopite podcast. We've tried to grow it as quickly as possible, coming into YouTube. Bit amateurish at the beginning, though. I think we've got better every single week, mate. And it's nice to get the feedback from you lot. And we appreciate that you've been liking and subscribing and commenting and interacting because we do it because we love doing it. But it's great that people are watching us as well. So we really appreciate it. So, yeah, the 5th season that me and Mick do a podcast together. We're league champions. Who knows what can happen next season? So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.